Analysis of transference. Analysis of transference is one of the significant psychoanalytic techniques conceived by Sigmund Freud. Is used on the disorder patients. Initially, he assumed this technique as an obstruction for the progress of the treatment, but later realized that this technique is an important tool which pushes towards a solution of the problem. Transference is transferring one's own emotion to the less harm and the safe person unconsciously. And the analysis deals with analyzing it carefully and redirecting it for the better outcome of the problem. Transferring takes its different phenomena. The first, it is an unconscious process where the person is not aware that transference is taking place. Second, it is a spontaneous process where the person does not have any preconceived idea. Third, it is concerned with the feelings of balance. Fourth, this process is dynamic, changes from person to person. So in a therapy session, the unconscious, specific, unresolved conflicts are redirected onto the therapist. Occurrence of transference between the client and the therapist possess better ways of resolving the problem that exists in the client. This technique is particularly effective in the field of neuroscience. When this technique is administered, the unconscious conflicts, either defensive or impulsive, is thrown out, which is then interpreted and solved. So in the following conversation that is happening between the therapist and the client, is where the client is a 28 years old homemaker staying with her husband and 2 children. She is experiencing anxiety disorder. She was undergoing psychotherapy for the past 3 sessions. This is the 4th session. During this session, she experienced transference unconsciously and transferred all the unresolved feelings and anxiety of her husband towards the therapist. So let's start our conversation with our client. Hello Moni, how are you doing? So we are in the 4th session of the therapy. So how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, nice to hear that it's good. So whatever the homework I gave you last week, I asked you to mention the anxious moments you experienced and the person you experienced with. So did you do that?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, nice. Can I have a look on that? Good. Okay, so it seems that you're feeling the anxious moments when you're with your family members, your friends and your boss too. So could you please explain the physiological signs experiencing while you're undergoing these anxious moments?
I trembled and I shivered, but when my friends came to visit me, yeah, I was good. It was good.
Okay, it seems that you're managing your anxious feeling well with your family, well with your friends. So how about your family members? How do you manage anxious moments with them?
Yeah, everything's alright. At home, I did my daily chores, and that's it. Everything was good. Don't ask me about my family, please.
Okay, calm down. So would you please explain the activities which you pretty did well at your workplace and with your family members?
At work, yeah, it is good. My boss awarded me for doing good work, and at home, yeah, it was okay. It's good. Please stop asking me about home, please. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, it seems that you have been awarded. It's a very great improvement in the therapy session. So how well you managed your anxious moments when you met a new person, kind of a guest when you who visited your home?
Yeah, my dad visited me last day, and my brother also accompanied him. And it's been very long since we met. Yeah, we had dinner, and that's it. Please stop it. I don't want to talk about my family.
Okay, alright. So, Monica, the thing you notice that initially when I asked about your family members, you started having a discomfort feeling, so you shivered a lot. So, what could be the possible reason for that?
No, I did not. I talked about my family. I told that I taught my son swimming. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, just try recollecting. So, when the second time I asked about your family members, when I wanted to deep probe about your family members, the relationship with them, you started shivering and you shouted at me. So didn't you realize that?
No, I did not. I told you everything about that. No.
Okay, so while I was asking your anxious moments with your family members, you explain about your dad, your brother, your kids. So why not your husband?
I talked. Everything's okay between us. Sometimes, like, we have fights. That's all. We're not in good terms now. That's all.
Okay, you said that you're not in good terms with your husband. So initially when I asked about your family members, you started trembling, you started shivering. Some kind of disgusting feel was very much explicit on your face. So they started shouting at me. So these are all the emotions you wanted to explicitly throw onto your husband and you're unconsciously throwing it onto me. So this is called as transference in therapy session. So there is no way wrong about it. Okay, so it happens. It happens in all the therapy sessions. So if there is anything that troubles you, feel free to talk to me, come sit with me and explain what are the emotions you're undergoing with, because the emotions and unresolved conflicts which you're undergoing with your husband could be one of the reasons for your anxious feelings when you're with your family members. So feel free to contact me, and if you're telling your if you're explicitly opening up your emotions, so it could be a very great which would lead for the betterment of the solution. So okay, feel free to contact me. So for the next week, we can work about that for the coming up sessions and also do the homework which I gave you, like list down the anxious moments and the person experiencing it. So do well, okay? Manage well with the emotions and you can do it.
Sure.
Meeting